if you're sharing the thing, or if you go and log into theirs, if it's under the same like account, are you going to see like, oh, they're watching this? And then you're like, right? And generally, right, if you're fresh off a divorce, right?
They're watching How to Be Single or something.
You don't want to be in that headspace of like doing the calculus of what does it mean? What is the thing that they're watching?
Yeah. Like how to take an Italian dick. You're like, come on, Barbara. Fuck, already? You know I love Italy.
Not only did you go 5 episodes ahead, and This Is Us, but now you're watching old Cinemax shows.
Exactly.
On
Shit.
a streaming service.
Welcome to Divorce with Friends, the podcast that reminds you, you know what? If you can't apologize, just don't do it at all, Tom. I am Bobby Vito, and joining me, as always, is my friend, my colleague, my partner, Tom. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Bobby?
I'm doing well. We've taken quite a bit of time off. We've had some downtime.
Yes. Yeah. Busy.
It was Mother's Day weekend, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Did you do anything good?
Yeah. We did. We went to 75 soccer games, youth soccer games. Which is fitting because that's what you do every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunch of kids, and delayed the actual Mother's Day celebrations to post busy season. So that's basically
Like
raw deal for mom. But
yeah. Eventually, when the kids are done with school and life, mom will get like 20 Mother's Day celebrations.
Right. Well, yeah, she gets, whatever, a meal or something. It's tough being a mom.
It's tough. It's tough. Moms out there, you know what? Moms from Divorce with Friends podcast, moms, we love you.
Yeah.
We love you.
And if you're not a mom yet, like, don't have kids.
Don't have kids. That's great advice too. Yep. So Tom, we missed a bunch of stuff. A lot of things have been happening in the news. We talked about some stories that we think we could cover. I think you got a good one to start with. What's going on?
So I'm obsessed with the Bill Belichick story.
Okay.
This is my Karen Reed.
Ooh.
So if you're not from Massachusetts, I think it's a pretty national story now. Karen Reed is an instance where there's a documentary now. I watched that. That was pretty good.
Yep.
She was accused of second-degree murder. Very juicy story. Not really relevant here. But my version of this, people are obsessed with this. They're devoting their lives to it. My version of this is Bill Belichick.
Ooh.
And it is divorce related because we're divorced with friends. Yeah. Because Bill Belichick is divorced.
Yep.
And he had a long-time relationship after his divorce, which I don't know if he got married, but
he was with her for a while.
he was with her for several years, but I think maybe not officially married. And he has adult kids, which is part of the interesting sort of.
One of them's on the coaching staff.
One of them is on the coaching staff, his coaching staff. Yeah. His daughter, I think, coaches lacrosse too. It's a big sports family. Surprise, surprise. So Pablo Torre, do you know who Pablo Torre is?
I don't.
Pablo Torre is a reporter / TV personality for ESPN and now Dan Le Batard's show.
Yep. Okay.
So he's a younger guy. He's a Harvard grad. He's I think a pretty serious journalist, and he's applying his trade now to this very salacious Bill Belichick story. And he's been cranking out.
Is big.
Yes, he's been cranking out lots of interesting stuff. So Jordan is Belichick's girlfriend, spelled Jordan, and Belichick is 73.
Okay.
And she's 24,
all right.
I think, or 25.
A lot of people are applauding right now.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are disgusted too.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Different sides of the aisle. Yeah. So the history of this, they started to go public, and she would post things on Instagram. There was one where she was in a mermaid costume and he was a fisherman on a beach.
Saw that.
Very awkward.
Saw that, yep.
He's very old, so the visual is a little off-putting.
Yep.
She's showing up with him at various high-profile events.
She was in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
She was in the Dunkin' Donuts. So that's part of Pablo's most recent reporting. The sort of apex of this was they did a CBS interview, recently, It was supposed to be a puff piece. It's CBS's morning show. They usually are like, hey, you know, what kind of dog do you have, right? Like, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, you're grumpy in the morning, aren't you, Bill? You know? But this time, she was there and apparently interrupting a lot. They made her part of the interview.
Okay.
And Bill
she's like off to the side as well.
She's off to the side. Yeah, Bill gave some sort of awkward responses. They didn't want to talk about how they met. So that really sort of blew the relationship up into the public sphere a little bit more. Okay. So Pablo Torre now starts cranking out these reports. One is that maybe they met when she was 19 and not 21 when they said.
Still legal.
Okay.
Still legal.
Even less great. Teen is not like what you want to hear when you're 73 and dating somebody. So there was that. There's a couple other rumors around that, but those are, you can Google those. You can find those. We're not gonna spread those. Yep. One of the big ones is that, and I think this is interesting from the divorce perspective, the kids allegedly hate her.
Okay.
And here's part of the twist. So she has been buying up properties. She's 24. And I think previously, I don't know exactly, she's doing a lot of Bill's PR work and sort of management. So maybe she's getting paid for that. I don't know.
Is she with him in North Carolina?
She's with him in North Carolina very much. Yeah. Actually, she's allegedly been banned from the facility because she's been with him too much.
Wow.
So North Carolina, she's now no longer allowed to come to the football facility. She was allegedly...
Persona non grata.
So allegedly, they canceled Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks UNC.
I did hear this, yeah.
Was going to happen, but they canceled it because she was so difficult to work with, allegedly. So she is buying these houses, maybe with a salary, and maybe it's legitimately earned. I don't really know what the inner workings of what Bill Belichick needs or what he pays for that or whatever. But she's buying these houses. She's building kind of a real estate empire. People are alleging that maybe Bill is assisting financially.
I think that's probably true.
Fair. The kids don't like her. Mm-hmm. And maybe the kids don't like her partly because
she's cutting into
there's a little inheritance
there. Of course, yeah.
And maybe dad's...
And in a Cole situation.
Yeah, and maybe dad's lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
So then there's some things where she kind of forced her way, allegedly, into the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Mm-hmm. There's another commercial, like a DraftKings commercial.
I don't think I saw that.
So the story on that one is Belichick is in the commercial. She doesn't have a role. With no context, she comes out in a bikini and tells everybody on set that she's kind of written herself into the commercial.
Classic move.
And then is next to him, and he just kind of grunts and approves, and they have to put her in the commercial because they want Bill in the commercial, allegedly.
Do you think, all right, so when he was with the Patriots, right, he ran the show. It was clear who was running the show, right? And in fact, that's probably why Brady left or got traded or something like that, right? She's a hot chick. He's with her for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. That's got to be part of the deal then, because he's not letting somebody run the show. Meaning he's agreed to this.
I've seen some people, some women online who are kind of like, basically leave her alone, right? Good for her. Go get your bag.
Sure.
And if this doddering old man wants to, buy you houses and set you up, and you are doing whatever you need to do in trade, good for you. Or maybe there is, I don't know, who knows? Maybe the two things that I find interesting about the story, because I don't know, who knows what's going on, right? Like nobody knows. Maybe he's taking advantage of her. Maybe she's taking advantage of him. Maybe it's like some kind of weird romance. But the two things that I find interesting, one, how interested everybody is in it.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is obviously the age gap is the thing. But the thing I think is particularly interesting is who Belichick was, right? Like you said, he's this guy who, the Patriot way, there's no nonsense. You do what Belichick says. He's got all the answers. He's a guy who he sleeps in the office. He's super grumpy. We're on to Cincinnati. You ask him about the last game. He says, we're on to Cincinnati. He bucks no bullshit, right? And now this guy seems to be getting led around, right?
He does, but I really, honestly, I feel like people just love to know who other people fuck.
That's
because if she was his age, they'd kind of laugh at it still, but no one's going to say shit, right?
Right.
But because she's young, they're like, she's in it for the money, or he's been taken advantage, or she's been taken advantage of. Guy likes to fuck a 25-year-old. And guess what, Tom? I'm 43. Good for him. Or good for her, or good for both of them. I don't know why people care that much. It's is she ruining his legacy? The real question is like, did he already, are there other things already about him that have ruined his legacy? Like, does this change anything does this make it worse or better for him in the long run? Like, this is probably like a nothing story. Unless she like kills him and takes like his entire like net worth or something like that. This is probably like a no big deal story. But again, people just like to know who fucks who.
I don't know though. I think maybe, so there's a generation of people who don't totally remember. It's been a little while now since the Patriots were really good.
Very true.
They weren't great at the end of his run.
Very true.
And then he wasn't coaching and he did some podcasts, but and so I think there's probably going to be a generation of people who just know him for this. And I'll be honest, I would remember this, I think.
Well, you always remember the last thing they did.
Yeah. I'm not going to forget this, I don't think. And particularly if he goes to UNC. So this is a big thing too, I think. If he goes to UNC and they stink, that's really bad for him, right? Because they're probably going to fire him. And then it's going to make the story seem worse in a weird way. Even though maybe it doesn't matter.
I guess like,
the narrative is worse.
but the question will always be around New England. Like, was it Belichick or was it Brady that made the Patriots great, right? And I feel like that's already divided. Like, it depends on who you like, right? Because I feel like there's the Bledsoe people who are like, it wasn't Brady, right?
They're Bledsoe.
They're Bledsoe guys. It doesn't matter. It wasn't
Dale Arno.
Exactly. So it doesn't really matter. I just think I am, obviously it was abrasive. I think it could be a situation where, they're getting their name out there and maybe there's a bigger reason for it. Like maybe it's post football life and there's some sort of weird reality show.
I mean, if you're measuring it by attention and interest and you do the no publicity, no such thing as bad publicity metric,
they're doing great.
They're winning there.
Yeah, they're killing it.
But the second thing I think is really interesting, besides just how fascinated people are, is the family dynamic. Now imagine, right? You have parents. I have parents.
I get two of them.
Yep. Imagine your dad starts dating a 25-year-old, right? Because our dads are about that age. And we know what's left in the tank, roughly, right? There's a lot of money there.
Did you see my dad walking down the stairs? It's the most unattractive thing. Like, I'm imagining my dad like trying to hit on like a 25-year-old.
Well, your dad's pretty charming. I've met your dad. I know your dad well. He's very charming. But imagine, and then also it's human. No matter how much you love your parents, and no matter how much all these people are well established. Well, I don't know. Bill's kid kind of got his job from Bill, but no matter how well established you are on your own, they're probably doing there's so much money there that they're probably doing a little bit of math, right? Like, new contract. What did he have before? What's left, right?
Well, I guess.
And how much is she eating into that?
And look, I have no idea what Belichick's kids' qualifications are, but I'm pretty sure to be on an NFL coaching staff, a little bit of nepo happening there anyway. So it's a little.
Well, that was the original nepo, right? I mean, that's almost like the early sign for this. He's hiring his kids left and right. Now his girlfriend gets a job. Like,
well, didn't McDaniels and all those other morons who get like hired and fired all over the NFL because they came from the Patriots, and he keeps bringing them back even though they lose all the time.
Yeah, we need a Rooney rule for this. You gotta hire somebody else before you start hiring all your kids.
Exactly, exactly.
Interview somebody else.
So maybe his legacy should have been shit before this happened anyway. Maybe this was on the writing on the wall before this happened to begin with.
Yeah, and maybe this is. Have you seen Succession?
I have.
Succession guy? Okay. So Succession's a great show, and the premise of the show is obviously it's kind of loosely based on the Murdochs, and the dad has a bunch of kids, and they're all kind of fuck-ups.
Did he kill him?
No, but they're all kind of fuck-ups, right? They're like, they're a bunch of Fredos.
Well, the
right?
Murdochs were fuck-ups because the dad was a fuck-up, right? Were the kids fuck-ups because the dad like basically was a fuck-up?
Rupert Murdoch?
Oh, I think meant the South Carolina Murdochs.
Oh, no, like Rupert Murdoch, the Fox guy. Yeah.
Got it.
So the premise is that kids are all kind of fuck ups, right? And the dad is kind of balancing like whether he wants to basically like cut them off and lay into them versus like kind of helping them along and propping them up. So maybe this is what this is. He kind of looked around and was like, all right, I got to support all these assholes. So I'm just going to keep coaching forever. And, and while he's there, he's like, all right, maybe I might as well,
All right.
take a 24-year-old too.
All right.
We're going to update that story.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on this. Speaking of Hard Knocks, so another kind of story that changed a little bit while we were out. I feel like the kids may not understand this story, but I feel like our generation will. So any listeners between 30 and 45 are going to care. So apparently Max has changed back to HBO Max. I'm going to call this another who the fuck cares story. And the reason for this, Tom, is when we were growing up, there was HBO, right?
Yes.
That was like the expensive premium channel, right? You had your Saturday at night movies, and they had that cool opening with like the micro. It had like this great scene with this awesome like opening song.
Yes.
And like it opened on this town, and the camera kind of zoomed in. It was like Steven Spielberg-esque, right? You were so fucking excited to watch Demolition Man or some shit on Saturday.
Yep.
And then, you watch the Saturday movie. But then Cinemax came out, and it had the shittier movies, and you only got it. Skinemax, right? You only got it, though, on free preview weeks, when they had free previews. But it was great because they had introduced me to the term softcore porn, which is basically no penetration in porn for the kids out there listening. But Cinemax sucked. And then the apps came, and it was HBO Go, which, again, HBO keeping the brand because they merged, right? And then it became HBO Max.
Yep.
And then we're like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We're merging families. We're bringing the stepkids along. That's fine.
Sure.
Then they were like, we gotta somehow let people know that Max matters for some shitty reason.
Yeah.
And they made it Max.
Yep.
And I still called it HBO
Right.
because that's what you called it because you weren't poor.
Yep.
And now they're like, we're making a big deal about it. We're calling it HBO Max again.
Right.
Because who the fuck cares? Like, why are they doing this?
This is one of those things. So do you remember when Airbnb changed their logo?
Yeah, it looks like a vagina, or it looks like a vagina.
I think it looked like a vagina, and
Now it looks like
I think
a
it
hand.
still kind of does.
It's like a hand holding a vagina.
Yeah. And everybody
support
was
vaginas?
Everybody on the internet was kind of like, how did this happen? Right. And I feel like that with some of the Max things. It's like, it feels like there are just 6 people in a room who keep looking at each other and going, all right, we got it this time.
Yeah.
And they don't run it by anybody.
No.
Because it's so confusing. And I think it's also kind of emblematic of streaming as a beast right now.
Yep.
Because I can never figure out what's on what channel.
Sure.
As soon as I figure out what channel a thing is on, I go, fuck,
Yep.
I don't have that one, or I don't know where the login is for that. And it's actually become worse. I think it's made people miss cable. Cable sucked, and streaming has gotten so disjointed and weird, and there's so many logins. You can't it's not logical. Like Peacock doesn't necessarily have all the NBC shows. Like West Wing is on Max. Why was it on NBC? I don't really understand why.
That's very true.
Right? You can't just intuitively figure out where something is. You have to Google it. And then when you go to like your streaming service, it's like more ways to watch. Here's 8 ways to watch. It could be on any of these apps. Do you have it? Who the fuck knows? Just keep logging into shit, and you got to Google stuff. And if you don't want to use the same password every time and get hacked to death, like like a fucking grandparent, then you have to use these like strong passwords, and then you put them in a file. But that file's probably going to get hacked, and now you're fucked anyway. So,
Have you ever done like the fucking really stupid thing? It's when you subscribe to the thing on Prime, and then you don't even remember that you did it. So like instead of just getting the HBO app, you do it through Prime.
That's a perfect example. I had 9 versions of NBA League Pass one year, and I didn't even know where to sign. And then we go to log in, and we'd be like, "Oh, it's not on this one. Where the fuck is my League Pass? I paid for this 3 times."
Yeah, dude, that is brutal. But you bring up a good point about the login. So, going through, I have kids, so I have every single app that you can think of, right?
Same.
I even have like Paramount Plus and AMC Plus, or whatever. The passwords after the separation, I paid for that, so I was like, "Guess whose passwords I am?"
Yeah.
What do you do about shared passwords? What do you think?
So, a lot of the things you can do profiles, right? So Netflix lets you do.
Somebody's still paying for that, so
Yeah, that's true. So one person has to pay.
no.
But you can have different profiles at least. Because one of the things that's annoying is if you're in somebody else's profile who does, so say you're divorced, you're separated, whatever, and you guys were using the same profile, the other person branches off and in kind of a sad metaphor watches shit without you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching shit without them.
That's probably why you got divorced.
Maybe. They Netflix cheated on you?
Yeah.
But they went ahead, you're like, that's it, we're good.
Not again, Barbara.
This is a bad sign. This is
Barbara,
a bad.
boundaries. God damn it, Barbara.
So if you have the 2 different logins, you can at least create a separate profile, right? And then when you go to watch your stuff, it's just your stuff. Their stuff is their stuff. But then if you're sharing the thing, or if you go and log into theirs, if it's under the same like account, are you going to see like, oh, they're watching this? And then
Yeah.
you're like, right? And generally, right, if you're fresh off a divorce, right?
They're watching How to Be Single.
Yeah,
or something.
you don't want to be in that headspace of like doing the calculus of what does it mean? What is the thing that they're watching?
Yeah. Like how to take an Italian dick. You're like, come on, Barbara. Fuck already. You know I love Italy.
Not only did you go 5 episodes ahead, and This Is Us, but now you're watching old Cinemax shows.
Exactly.
On a
Shit.
streaming service. Yeah.
Ah, goddamn Barbara. Well, all right. So I think we
So
have
probably
time-
clean break.
Clean break.
Different accounts,
But I
not
lo-
just profiles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good
Tom
advice.
has convinced me I did the right thing. All right, Tom. We got one more that I actually thought was fake. It may still be fake, but it's on Vice, which is a great website. Actually, great news. So, Tom, what's this story?
So this is a weird one. So this woman allegedly, and again, who knows if these are fake now because of AI?
Could be
which is relevant
because of AI.
These could all be AI written stories. This woman filed for divorce after ChatGPT read her husband's affair in a coffee cup, in the not the tea leaves, but the coffee leaves.
Now, I want to tell you this. So, again, I don't have social media. I always have to say that as if I'm defending myself as a human being.
Right.
I have it. We have it as
Yeah.
a couple, you and I.
Yes.
We have it because of the podcast.
That's a shared account.
It's a shared account.
Yeah.
I saw this on Instagram, and I instantly thought it was because of the algorithm. And I was like, bullshit. And when you brought it up to me, I was like, I saw that. I thought it was fake.
Yes.
But then you told me the source, which was Vice. And I was like, this is probably.
Which I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even tell if the news provide. You can't, right?
Well, they do
Fake
some
news.
shit. I watch it on HBO
Yeah.
with my own password.
Okay.
I watch it, and they do like all this drug stuff they do.
Deep dives.
Like
but I'll tell you one thing though.
what?
A lot
Don't
of
ruin
these
my
sites,
joke,
a lot of these websites, as a person who's kind of in this industry, a lot of these websites will sort of abuse. There's actually Google put out what's called a reputation abuse algorithm update.
Does Vice get that?
Vice might, but like sites like Forbes
Okay.
will just crank out a bunch of crap and hang it off of their domain because their domain is trusted and they try to make money from it. So you always have to be careful.
All right. So I thought it was fake, but
It might be
continue.
fake. But anyway, so she made coffee for herself and her husband, took pictures of the ground,
So far, it sounds very accurate.
and then asked ChatGPT to interpret it. Okay. Following what the article calls a rising trend of AI-assisted tasseography. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know what that
Like a
is.
tassel. So, which is, I guess, like a kind of a cousin. The chatbot reportedly saw signs of infidelity. This is like the worst way to get caught. Imagine you have like dotted your I's and crossed your T's. You have everything buttoned up. You did everything right electronically, right? Like I'm not advocating cheating, right? But like, and then coffee cup gives it away. You know what I'm
shit.
saying? Like just fucking blabs. Specifically that her husband was fantasizing about a woman whose name started with an E.
So
These
did he
things-
cheat, or was he just thinking about cheating?
Ooh, I don't know. And that this woman was trying to destroy their family.
Okay. This brings up a good question.
Yeah.
If you think of another girl
Yep.
while maybe touching yourself,
Okay.
is it cheating?
Well, I think most people would probably say no.
Okay.
Some people would probably say yes.
Because if you're watching a porn or something, not that I do that.
I think it's probably another level if that woman, porn is like, it's right, is porn, I don't know. Again, I think most people would say no.
I don't think
but
porn's cheating.
I don't
For the
know,
record,
but there's,
Bobby Vito does not think porn is cheating.
wow, that's okay, officially. But what if
Okay.
the woman you're fantasizing about is trying to destroy your family? What if that's your significant other's arch rival? I think that's a weird kind of infidelity, even if you don't think it is.
I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound cliche, and it's
Yeah.
going to sound like this is made up because I've seen videos about this.
Oh, boy.
About the woman. Basically, it's the guy and a girl.
Yeah.
And the girl will be like talking about how the guy cheated on her and embarrassed her in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and he won't even apologize. And then she puts the camera on him, and then he's like, I'm not apologizing because it was a dream. And then it's like a joke,
bum,
right?
bum, bum. Yeah.
I have dated a girl. It's not my ex-wife.
Yeah.
You know, the color hair is,
Yeah, I think I know.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Who was mad at me for a day because she had a dream about something like that.
Yeah.
So that to me is like clinical. That's like next level weird shit.
Yeah.
So is that like,
unfair?
But like,
Yeah.
and again, I don't know if he did it or he admitted to it or whatever. But like, fantasized. ChatGPT looked at shit in the bottom of a cup and was like, hey, again, Barbara fucking sucks today. Sorry, Barbara. You're getting it. You're getting
Tough day for
you're
Babs,
getting
yeah.
you're getting the tough one.
Yeah.
But hey, he cheated, or he's not even cheating. He's thinking about.
Well,
this
but maybe
shit.
he also cheated. So this is not.
We don't
like,
know.
ChatGPT did not explicitly let him off the hook either.
True.
Right? They didn't say like, "Hey, he only thought about this." Apparently, I didn't, dive that deep. So
ChatGPT's got a lot of bad karma coming to it.
So I think that's the next level to this too. I think is that AI is going to be a significant player in a lot of relationships like this. I would imagine, right? People are going to want to diagnose. Hey, I have observed this behavior. What does it mean? That'll be the same way that they would go to Google or something like that for it now, but maybe ChatGPT. So ChatGPT or Claude or these AI tools, you can create a project. So here's what you could do. This is my thought. You could create a project, right? If you're particularly into this kind of thing, like if this woman is taking pictures of coffee cups, right? She's the type of person who might do this. You can create a project and put lots of information in the project.
Like a Pinterest board.
Basically, yeah. But a Pinterest board, but for like data.
Oh, boy.
So you could give like hey, take my calendar, take these emails, right? This is my email history. Take my text message history. Tell me if my significant other is likely to be cheating. Boom.
Wow.
Right? You can put that into a project.
Oh God.
You kind of expand the memory of the AI by putting it in a project. The AI can like reference all this information, look at it. These models are getting smarter and smarter. ChatGPT has like deep research and all these, and they could look at it and say, yeah, you know what? Here's why I think this guy's cheating.
And he's like, you know what? He is cheating. Go to Netflix and go watch How to Take an Italian Dick. And now now Netflix gets the show that they want you to watch.
You know what, sweetie? You go ahead in that series.
Exactly.
Because he's stepping up. You could put credit card history in.
Oh, well,
Credit card history in.
all right.
You give ChatGPT credit card history, all your texts and emails that you've had with that person, and the shared calendar. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It would probably get me in a lot of trouble. Tom, so just a good transition here.
Yeah.
Professional transition. So,
Okay. By the way, I wanted to comment just before you transition.
Sure.
Your transition from Hard Knocks to HBO was excellent. And for anybody who missed it, Hard Knocks was on HBO.
thank you.
And we didn't plan that, and I didn't see that coming. That was a pro level.
I want to say thank you for acknowledging that.
A+ segue.
I didn't. My feelings right now of how acknowledged and seen I feel.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I would need that. But I did.
Well, you surprised me with that, which is part of what freshens things up, right? You need to be surprised.
I feel like that's thank you, Tom.
important.
So you brought up credit cards, which is really interesting because Divorce with Friends actually has some exciting news. We can't give away too much because we're a podcast of surprises.
Yes.
But we have a sponsor, right? We can't give it away. We have some things happening with the sponsor, but the sponsor gave us some money
Yep.
to play with. And what we told the sponsor we would do with the money is we would buy subscriptions to things, and the money's not for Tom and I to go buy hookers and prostitutes and drugs, even though that was my original plan with the money. That was part of the proposal, and they were like,
if you want us to buy those things, you need to come on as a second sponsor.
Yeah.
That's the second sponsor. Yeah.
So actually, you should write this down as a second sponsor.
Yeah.
So if you like this idea, write it down, because legally, apparently, I can't propose it to you.
Okay.
Legally, apparently.
Right.
But what they told us was you can take this money and invest it in the podcast in ways that may be interesting to the listeners. Ooh. And then if this grows, we could share their name and then we can get more stuff.
There you go.
So what we told them we would do is buy things that the listeners may enjoy and then watch it blow up in our face, which would make people laugh, and then we'd laugh and everyone would laugh. So the first thing we did was I said, hey, this algorithm has this old lady psychic up my ass. And she's like, look, you're a loser. You are probably single. And I can draw you the face of your soulmate. And
so this is on social media. So you're getting social media ads.
We are as a couple. As a couple. You and me.
Our shared account.
Yeah, you and me. We're in this together.
So remember, that's the shared. Yeah. So
Yeah.
any nudes you want to send, that goes to both of us.
Yep.
So we're getting these ads.
Yep.
For a psychic who's going to draw our soulmate.
Yep. So
Okay.
the psychic did. So her name, I don't have it in front of me, but in fact, I think it's right there. Yes. So we'll post this picture online. It's Tina Adela, psychic artist.
Ooh, okay.
She's all over Instagram and probably any social media. She's not our sponsor by any means.
Maybe-
but our
maybe.
sponsor is paying her credit.
Reach out. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she will. Cocaine and hookers and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the sponsor is paying the credit card bills. That's the transition.
There.
Now that we talked about it, it's less
Love it.
impressive.
Very
But
nice.
basically, what she did was, and again, I think this is all AI anyway. But I paid a nominal fee, and she drew our soulmate. Right?
Yes.
We have an email account. We have a thing. This is the picture, Tom.
Okay.
I thought it looked like Gina Davis.
Yes.
You thought somebody different.
I thought there was like a female Walter Goggins vibe. Maybe that's just because it's very topical and he's getting the zaddy energy. So apparently, and this is speaking of reading news articles,
Yeah.
he's apparently got zaddy energy.
Yeah.
You know what zaddy is?
So you're the second person today to say Zaddy.
Wow.
But neither one of them are talking about me, so I'm not exactly sure.
Ooh.
I laughed along with the first one.
So I think, and I could be wrong on this because I'm old, but I think zaddy is it's like attractive dad energy.
Okay.
But it's not, it's in like a dad way.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, Brad Pitt happens to also be a dad, right?
Okay.
It's like, oh, this guy has like dad energy and that's very attractive.
But what does Zad mean?
I don't really know I don't know the etymology. Maybe we'll do that next
Somebody
week.
email or
Yeah,
reach
send
out.
us the etymology for like zaddy,
Zad,
the history.
yeah.
But and then also he's like an icon for LGBTQ plus community because he's got kind of like, I guess like gender fluidity kind of vibes, and he's been embracing that. And handsome guy, very talented actor. I would
Super
put him
talented.
on a level with podcast mascot
Bernthal?
Bernthal. Yeah,
Wow.
I think they're comparable. I think they're kind of comparable. I like Bernthal better personally.
Bernthal is official. I mean, we talked about it a little bit off air. He's the first official Divorce with Friends podcast heartthrob.
Yes.
Right? He's heartthrob level?
Yeah, absolutely heartthrob level, I think now. Yeah. And just the acting talent. I love Bernthal, big Bernthal guy. I like Bernthal better than Goggins,
Oh, yeah.
personally. But Goggins, I think, is very good. New White Lotus, Justified.
Justified. Yeah, he was good in Justified.
What's that? He's a
Vice
kooky-
Principals, he was awesome.
Vice Principals is great.
Yep.
And the new one I haven't watched, the Righteous Gemstones.
Yep.
I'm not up to date on that.
Yeah, I'm not up to date, but he's great. Yeah, he's awesome. We'll post a picture online. We can vote Gina Davis, Goggins, and or somebody else that you.
Yeah.
But
Right
let's
in.
tell you something about Gina Goggins here a little bit. So the initials of her are EK, right?
Okay.
So apparently you or I, hopefully it's me. You're spoken for. But her initials will be EK, and we'll start to see those initials all over the place.
Okay.
Her zodiac sign is a Libra. All right. So that means that her birthday is sometime between 9/23 and 10/22.
Okay.
Her aura is described as lavender.
What were the inputs for, did you put in your birthday for this? Do
Um,
you remember the fields you filled out or?
you know what? I did.
You
I
did,
did.
see?
I
Okay,
did.
so that's got to be compatible with your.
I did. That
what's
was
your
selfish
sign?
of me. That was selfish of me. I'm sorry. And your birthday's coming up, actually.
Mine is. I'm a Gemini.
You're a Gemini.
Yeah, I have
We have sponsorship money. Let's do it again.
multiple personalities.
We'll ask
yeah.
permission.
Yeah, sounds
do
good.
it again. Okay. So her aura is a lavender, which
Okay.
I did tell you. So I went to CVS.
Yeah.
CVS, and they didn't have my normal deodorant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I grabbed whatever I could find.
Uh-huh.
I brought it home. Lavender.
I'm a psychic skeptic,
Completely by accident.
and yeah, I think that a lot. It's kind of like astrology, which
Yeah.
I frequently confuse with astronomy. Two different things. They're sufficiently vague, right? It's like, oh, lavender. Like there's lavender and lots. Right?
Don't yuck my
It's
yum.
like red. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. But by the way, I only.
Sorry.
I
don't mean to come between you and your.
I want to be honest. We get the money about 2 weeks ago is when I bought it.
Yeah.
I didn't even read this until today
Yeah,
because
okay, well,
I just don't believe in any of it. But you know what? Psychic Adela, prove us wrong. Let me tell you a little bit about EK's career. 'Cause
Okay.
This is really
exciting.
This
Yeah.
is really where things get
It'd be funny if it's like a character actor.
character actor,
good.
the sister of Walt Goggins. Career, right? So my soulmate established herself as a prominent art curator. So she's a lover of those arts. Gina Davis, Walt Goggins, loves the art. And where are we going to meet? So let me tell you where we're going to meet in about 5 months. So if you do the math right, so that's about October.
Yeah.
So if I really play my cards right, we're going to skip right over birthday month, which saves
Sneak it in
Divorce
there.
with Pod, Divorce
You
with
get
Friends
12 months
podcast.
to figure it out.
Yeah. Can find
Well, you don't want to do that early, right? Because then it's like a weird, like, how much do I get? Do I get anything?
Yeah, but
what
like,
do I spend? What are they expecting?
how great is it if I meet EK and I'm
Yes.
like, oh, hey, your
Right.
birthday was last week?
Oh, too bad.
Shucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Better luck
Catch
next
you in
year.
12 months.
And then if I
But you
find
still got Christmas. You got Christmas.
that's true.
Right?
That's true. I might have dodged the birthday, but then hit the bigger one.
Christmas is coming.
And then I get Valentine's Day.
Christmas, that's a decent, right? Couple months is decent distance. You can kind of gauge that probably.
That's true. And like the first Christmas, like
Yeah, you don't have to go. It's 2 months and you don't have
maybe
to
she's Jewish.
go. Ooh, true. Yeah.
And you don't get 7 gifts.
You have to get 12
You don't
or
get 8
something?
gifts.
Yeah,
8
okay.
gifts.
8
You don't get
gifts.
8. You don't get 8.
Wow.
Maybe for, I don't know what you get. I'll find out. Jewish listeners, what do you get?
EK maybe.
EK.
Maybe walking away here. You're shortchanging.
She could. Sorry about that. Okay, so in about 5 months, okay, we're going to meet. We could meet at her work, which says it could be an art exhibit where she's very busy. And where she sees me looking at the art, and she comes over because I look confused, apparently. which, as much as I'm skeptical about all this is the thing that adds up.
Is this just a Cinemax show?
Yeah, so exactly. They're like, yeah, and then it fades away, and
Yeah.
then you're tucking your shirt in.
Yeah, yeah.
But it says this could be an art exhibit or a bustling mall.
Ooh, a bustling mall.
Bustling mall. So like the Burlington Mall or the Natick Collection, something like that, or a scenic park, which is
Okay.
probably some places that I will not go. So
Well, I have a couple observations.
Yeah.
So one, I think that these are all plausible for you because you're very outgoing and right. And charismatic, and you're a great talker. For me, like the odds of me meeting someone in a bustling mall would be like -1,000,000 because I am trying to get out of the bustling mall as fast as I humanly possible.
but
Yeah.
you're charming, and you could be trying to get out so quickly that you knock over some woman. And she's like,
This art curator.
"Who the fuck just did that?" And you're like, "Whoa!" and she's like, "It's like that. It's like you have that like the birds chirping and
Yes,
like hearts
yeah.
and stuff around you."
Yeah.
And then that's the story you tell your grandkids.
That might be, yeah. Nothing gets them going, like
That-
knocking them over and then go, "Wow!"
But like her nose is broken or something like that. And like,
oh yeah.
you gotta like take her-
wacky. Oh, I go sit with her in the hospital because I was such a great guy.
exactly. And then she finds out that
We get
like,
to know each other. Yeah.
exactly. And like
So-
maybe she needed a blood transfusion. Like you're her blood type or something. I don't know.
Wow, that's a lot. That's
love-
quite a Christmas gift.
I
That's hey,
love
I'll just be like, look, this is
Everybody
your
who
early
knows me,
Christmas
I
gift.
love
I'm
Baxter.
not getting you anything for Christmas,
Yeah.
just say, or Hanukkah.
I'm a romantic. Tom.
Yeah. Second thing, art curator.
Yeah.
Would that be a plus, minus, or neutral for you? You see that on a dating profile, or you know, whatever.
Honestly, I don't want to offend EK before I meet her. I would be intimidated by that, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
not intimidated. Like, I would. Not that I think she'd think she's better than me. I just would feel like I couldn't keep up with that. I'm a very, despite what somebody's Instagram freaking feed might say about me, I think I'm kind of low profile. My shirt has a Macho Man on it right now.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm
that's
not. I'm not very flashy. I don't think I am anyway. So I don't know if I would fit in with that crowd. But maybe that's why she likes me. I
Right.
don't
That
know.
could be like a yin and yang thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
so
the macho, the wrestling, and the
I would have
art
to
curation.
really accept that when she leaves here, she's not making fun of me with her friends.
Right. Which any profession could do that potentially.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I would just really have to accept it. So we'll keep everybody posted on the development as well as the investment of the other funds in things that probably aren't going to come true, but maybe they're going to help get some more people on here. Okay. So what we want to do is we had a couple listener emails come in about dating advice, actually, because we put up a post last week before Mother's Day. And it was, hey, guys shouldn't give dating advice, relationship advice. And Tom and I were like, the fuck we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Tom's actually really good at advice, and I am not good at it, but I want to try.
Yeah.
So we're going to read some emails.
Sounds good.
And we're just going to give you some hot takes. And some of them are going to be bad. And some of them are probably, some of your emails are bad, actually. Some of the things you did are bad.
Yeah. A lot of these people are probably a mess.
And
And they shouldn't, just as a caveat, like you shouldn't really listen to but everybody's advice is just their experience, right?
Yeah.
So don't listen to anything, but
because when you ask someone's advice, let's be honest, you kind of want them to tell you did okay.
right.
We're not going to do that.
But they're only going to tell you, like, it's like the famous, like there was a story where like Bobby Orr tried to coach and like, he was like, well, just do this. And he did some sort of move or something. Bobby Orr's a great hockey player.
Yeah.
And the hockey player was like, well, I can't do that. Bobby Orr was like, why not? And he was like, well, I'm not Bobby Orr. So your advice is going to be specific to you.
Sure.
We're not you. This is probably going to be bad advice.
Probably going to be bad advice. All right, let's try this one out. So
Yeah, give it a try.
This was an email from Aaron@gmail.com. So Aaron, thank you, Aaron. Guys, I need some advice. I started seeing this girl. Yes, I met her online. We've been out a few times. I like her, but I'm afraid to tell her she has the same name as my dog.
Oof.
I love my dog, so it's complicated. How and when do I tell her?
I think this guy needs to like talk to some. I don't think it's that big a deal.
I don't think it's a big deal.
That this person has the same name as your dog.
Yeah.
And I think this guy's probably got some other hangups.
I think so too.
That he's spending too much time on. And, I would just push forward and, move forward. And statistically speaking, there's a good chance it's not going to work out anyway. And you'll meet somebody else who doesn't have your dog's name. But I don't really think that's like a disqualifier. I'm not really sure why.
The worst she's going to do is say, I don't like that. I don't like your dog. And guess what? You found out everything you need to know about this chick.
That's true too. Yeah, exactly. And if not, then you probably like your dog. So you're like, oh, that's a positive, right?
Yeah, Aaron, tell her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next. This one is quite the conundrum, Tom. All right, so Tom and Bobby Vito. I divorced a few years ago, but I started seeing someone recently. So congratulations there. Okay. Your apologies could use some work, but maybe your better advice. So we'll see about that. My boyfriend is great, but he does two things that really annoy me. Is this a me problem or is it actually annoying? So the first one is that he claps when the plane lands.
Oof.
And he has called food yummy once. This is from Sarah@gmail.com. Let's take the first one. Claps when the plane lands.
Well, that's got to be ironic, right? That's got to be funny.
She doesn't mention it. I have been on planes
thinks
when
he's a
people.
character.
I'm a nervous flyer anyway, but I don't clap when the plane lands. I want to like. I'm very happy when the plane lands because I'm not like a confident flyer.
You've been on a plane where people clap?
I have. I
feel
think
like I go on a couple plane rides. I'm not a super frequent flyer.
I've been on one.
That's pretty weird.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that's straight. I think if he's doing so, I think two things are probably true. If he's doing this, he's doing it ironically because he's a card. He's a cut up, right?
But it's not funny.
But she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So she doesn't think it's funny, and probably that bleeds into other again, right? This is probably symptomatic of other things where he's like a little. I think this might be like an underlying like she doesn't think he's funny. He thinks he's funny and she doesn't. That's a problem.
I think so too.
That's not good.
Okay, so that's a good call out. So I think if he does do it, that's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
I think the other part is that if he's doing it and he thinks it's funny, he's definitely not funny.
Right.
And the fact that he's called food yummy at least once that she mentions, that's also annoying as fuck. And why would you? I've never called anything yummy.
I'm going to swerve on that. I don't think I've called things yummy either. But if he did it once.
But like one time, everything starts once.
That's true.
Every bad habit happens.
Yeah, maybe he's trying it out.
Yeah.
Now he's going to be firing and then it's going to. Well, but that honestly, like if he starts just saying yummy all the time, that might be good because then she's like, okay.
Imagine this. So she didn't say he clapped. I just thought of this. She didn't say he clapped on the plane once. So he's clapped on the plane a few times. He clapped on the plane once. She didn't say shit. He's called food yummy once. She didn't say shit. He's going to do it again.
Yeah. And so she was divorced.
Yeah.
So she's presumably, she doesn't give a lot of information. She doesn't give any information.
Sarah's boyfriend is obviously not self-aware.
Yeah. Well, she's been in probably a serious relationship. She got married. So she probably knows that these are, I think, you know what I mean? You know how sometimes you go to a certain friend when you want a certain answer and a different friend when you want a different answer.
She came to us when she wants the truth.
I think Sarah knows the score. I think Sarah's good.
Sarah,
I think she finds this guy annoying.
Sarah, I think all right, so here.
And he might be a lovely guy, but you probably should find him annoying.
All right, so Sarah, you don't need to pay Psychic Adela for this one. I think what we should do is tell him both habits are super annoying, and if you can't take that criticism, I think we both know what you got to do.
Yeah, but if Psychic Adela does sponsor us next week, then do pair.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. Okay, I think we have time for one more because we actually have another topic to get to, but let's do this one. Ready? So this is from Evan on Instagram. This was a DM. Hey guys, I met a girl on Tinder over the summer. So this is his first mistake.
Yeah.
We matched, we set a date, and then she ghosted me. Oof. About a week later, I ran into her on another date at the same bar she no-showed me at. Oof. I was going to ignore her, but I walked up and said, wow, small world.
Jeez, Evan.
She looked at me like she didn't know me.
Oof.
Was this a bad idea? Evan, come here for a second. Evan. Evan, come here.
What are you, fucking nuts?
Evan, this, I don't even know where to begin with this. Let me tell you something. You know why she looked at you like she doesn't know you? She doesn't know you.
Yeah.
First of all, you met this girl on Tinder. She doesn't know you. You had a date. She ghosts you. She doesn't show up. For some reason, you go back to that bar a week later.
Yeah.
That's kind of mistake number one.
Yeah.
Maybe two, depending on Tinder. And then while you're with someone else, you're like, I'm going to go talk to this girl. And now you're surprised that she doesn't know you. Maybe it was the wrong girl. I just like that could be it too.
Oh, wow. You think he was, so this is where we would want to interrogate because it was Evan drinking at the bar already.
I didn't even think of that.
The wrong girl. Maybe he did get the wrong girl. Two, this is another one where I think you know the answer, Evan, right? You know what you should be doing. You know what I mean? Like you're asking us, but like, this was wrong. This was bad, right?
Did you just want to tell us you did that?
It's like the dog who kind of looks at you like after they know they did something bad and they're like, hey, was that bad or are we good? But three, I wonder, so I haven't really been in the app scene ever.
It's not pretty.
I can imagine it's not pretty, but is it a faux pas or a problem at all on her end to be bringing dates to the same place? Are you supposed to spread it out, especially after you ghost someone specifically for one place?
It probably is, right? So if it was even the same girl, right?
Yeah, Evan's a creep, and it's probably like 99.9% Evan's fault. I'm just wondering, like, does she have something to tweak as well if it is her?
Yeah, like she should. Let's pretend it was, right? So she shouldn't have went there anyway,
right?
But at the same time, like, all right. So if it was her, she shouldn't be going to the same bar. He shouldn't go to the same bar or whatever. But I'm assuming if she ghosted him, it's probably behavior that she does a lot.
Yeah.
Which means where they were meeting and what time, like where they were going, is probably irrelevant to her.
Yeah.
Meeting, it could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
I think if anything, he just shouldn't have went over.
Yeah. Yeah, probably he shouldn't have went over for sure.
Yeah.
Again, I think there's no
Wow, small
universe
world. That's the best you got.
Yeah, wow, small world is not great.
You know what would have been really a good move is he pretended like that was the time of the date.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a power move.
Oh hey, yeah.
Like, oh hey, have you been waiting long?
Yeah. You can do something extra. Would be like, is this your brother?
Exactly. All right, that would have been so funny.
Yeah.
So sorry, Evan.
We haven't met. I'm Evan. Just kind of like yeah.
For all the women out there who say we're not pro women, I'm going to give her Evan. You lose on this one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we've been all pro women so far.
Yeah.
On these.
Yeah. I think
so. Men, sorry, your emails were. Or any complaint about men on this one, we're pro women. Yeah. All right, so we have one more segment, and then we're going to do the fan favorite, the No Dick Bozo of the week. We have a great No Dick Bozo of the week.
Nice.
So we want to talk really about men as they age. Some people say men age like a fine wine. Little research says that men actually peak in their late 20s. I am in my early 40s, right? We're in our early 40s, which means I peaked a while ago, right? So I want to talk a little bit, Tom, about high school and college dating where I should have been peaking, but as a notorious, I'm a late bloomer. I don't think I became sexy until my mid-20s, my late 20s, if at all.
Agreed, disagree.
If at all.
Yeah.
Meaning I didn't really maximize my peak attractiveness, right, if that's accurate. So I want to kind of talk about high school and college dating. Did you date a lot in high school, Tom?
No, not of my own accord, but no, nobody wasn't a lot of interest. So I was very, very awkward and verbose and shy. So anytime I got an opportunity, I fumbled the bag, as the kids would say. I think, yeah.
Did you have any,
like deep into college? I would say.
Did you have any girlfriends in high school?
Like not really, yeah, and nothing like super serious in college either. Yeah.
I feel like in my group, so Tom and I, just so everyone's aware who doesn't know us, so Tom and I went to high school together, but I was a year older than Tom in high school. So we had different groups of friends in high school. I think out of my groups of friends, I always had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And they were typically long-term.
Yeah.
Like I had a girlfriend freshman year through sophomore year, through middle of sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then another girlfriend from junior year, beginning of junior year, through sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
So that was like 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I was single for like 6 months. And then it was like the last year of college through like 2 years after college or something like that.
Yeah.
So I always had girlfriends.
Yeah.
But like, I think about the time, like up until like 2002, like right out of college, or 2004, right out of college, I wasn't like anything to write home about. Like, I'm not saying I was after that, but I was still kind of like like I look at photos of myself between 16 and 22, like severely overweight. Like I think I was like 260 or something, like in college. Like
But
like I wasn't like,
but you're a person, right? Even then, you wanted to be on the radio.
I was in radio.
And you're a talker, and you're a charming guy, and you were, I think, even when you were having, you gave an air of confidence, whether you were internally or not, right? Knowing you then, you seemed like a person who was confident in their sort of charisma, the things that you were saying, things like that, which is right half the battle or most of the battle, probably.
G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah, I did not have that, and I did not have long-term relationships. Not of my own choosing. I would have locked it in, almost like, you know what I mean, like when a young athlete signs a long-term deal, and it's like, and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you this 10-year deal, and we'll pay you $100 a year." I would have been like, "Sold,
Well,
sign me up," because I'm not, you know what I mean. I'm not getting any other offers, but I did it. Nobody was offering me the long-term deal even. So, yeah.
Well, I think my junior year through sophomore year of college girlfriend,
Yeah.
I think to me that in my mind at the time, I think it would have been like, oh, that's the person I was going to marry, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as, my parents are still together, and as great as they are as like role models, I think they're almost the worst sort of role models for a relationship, because they met when they were in like second grade, I think, or something like that.
Right.
And then they started dating when they were sophomores, and now, then they get married and have 3 kids, and, then my sister is with her husband, who she met in college. My brother's with his girlfriend, who we met in high school. So, being with the girl from high school and then through college, and like, you think you're going to marry her. I do look back at that now, and obviously, in my situation, it's kind of hard to separate, feelings and emotions. But I look at that situation, and I'm like, if I married that girl, one of us would be dead or in prison. Like as bad as my situation is now, like that one would have been even worse. And I have no ill will towards that one at all. Like,
Right.
Like
It just wasn't.
we're so young. Like there's no problem there at all. But it is that weird situation where you see how relationships are when you're that young, and you kind of think,
Well, that's your model. Yeah, they say.
that
I
is
mean,
your model.
statistically, kids who are born to entrepreneurs are more likely to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Same. Probably. I'm sure it's similar with like that's the model that you see of how two people treat each other. Right. What's important, what they value, what they prioritize, what they do. Right. So,
yeah. Well, I think what happened after that situation is, so that summer I worked, I was an intern at WAF, RIP. It was like this dream internship.
Yeah.
And do you remember that program? I don't even think it worked. I have no idea how it worked.
Yeah.
And you drank it at nighttime,
Yep.
and you spun around 7 times, and you punched yourself in the face or some shit.
Yeah.
And it was like, you'll lose all this weight.
Yeah.
And I was an intern, and they gave us, I was fat. And they were like, hey, fatso.
Good news, you qualify
Hey.
for the
Yeah.
180 program.
Hey, fatso. Good. I did a commercial with like Spaz or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, I did one with LB, and it was like, hey, Bob. I think they call me Flounder. Like, hey, Flounder, you like chicks? I was like, yeah, so I like chicks. And they were going to do like before and after. So I was super fat, and I did Awaken 180 the summer that right before that the girlfriend and I broke up, and I was going into my junior year of college, and I lost like 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So I go into that year in college, like I have no idea how it worked. I'm probably gonna die in like 5 years. I feel like whatever I took back then to like lose all that weight, whatever. But I think that year, right? So that I was 23 I think at that point, or 22. I somehow like found myself that year, and whatever that charm or that charisma that you think I always had, I think I saw in the mirror whatever people saw outside,
Yeah.
and it kind of developed that personality. In fact, little known fact. So not only was Tom in my wedding, Tom officiated my wedding.
That's true.
Do you remember the speech my brother gave at the wedding?
Yes.
Do you remember the story that he said about "You're crying, it's my room"? Do you know that story? That's how the name Bobby Vito happened, because it was the Godfather story. So those stories, which we'll tell on a different podcast, but those are the type of stories about kind of finding yourself and being confident, and it's not necessarily to talk about like being cocky or arrogant or anything like that, but it's more about you can rise above. Sort of, the way the way that you feel about yourself internally doesn't necessarily have to match the way that you feel that you look externally or the way that people perceive you. And I think as you go through a situation like this, it's really easy to feel like you're going through life with like a cloud over your head. And when you get to do something like this with this podcast, I think reminding yourself of those days in your 20s when, even though, we joke about, hey, peak male attractiveness ended 13 years ago. Well, I think that's just a mindset. And, the best days are kind of yet to come. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of a cliche, but it is true that, they say basically you want to become the person who the person you want to date would want to date, right? So you think about the person that you would want to date, and then you think about who would that person date.
I'm gonna become the person who wants to rub my back.
Okay, well, you have to improve yourself to the point where you're a catch to a back rubber, So,
right.
Ladies, so you have to think about that. What does a back rubber want, right? I don't know.
Ladies, DMs are open. All right, so we'll put a pin in that. We're gonna do our last segment, our final segment, and I think a really fun one, Tom. Yeah. So we have a really good one. We have our Nordic Bozo of the week, and I think this might be our best Nordic Bozo of the week.
Wow,
I don't know.
Best or best worst? Or
I think
we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Cliffhanger.
So we have a new entry, and this one is from Pharmacist Pam. You ready?
Yes.
Hi guys, it's Pharmacist Pam here with the Divorce with Friends No Dick Bozo of the week. This week's shining example of why dating apps should come with a breathalyzer is Kyle from Saugus, Mass.
Okay, so this is Pam, Pharmacist Pam, friend of the program.
Yeah.
I've met Pam before, very charming.
Excellent.
And Pam, I'm going to make fun of you for a second. She is actually a pharmacist.
Okay.
She's very smart. She has an amazing Boston accent. If you haven't picked up on it, so Pam, we're going to absolutely roast you for it. But I want you to know, it's charming. It's extremely charming. So let's hear about Kyle. Kyle from Saugus.
Okay.
Kyle clocks in at a proud 5'7", and he wants you to know that he absolutely doesn't care what you think about his height, unless, of course, you weigh 110 pounds and wear a C cup. In that case, he's all ears and his DMs are wide open. Super classy.
Sure. Okay, so
Yes, Kyle's a short king.
I was just going to say that. So far, okay, so I heard this in voicemail earlier, and I love that Kyle's a short king.
Yeah.
Which I love that I'm 5'7", and if you don't like it, if you're not 110 pounds and have huge tits, guess what? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, take a hike.
But if you want to talk to me about it,
right,
DM me.
Well, maybe this is the type of person that Kyle wants. You know what I mean? Like maybe Kyle wants the people who are like, into that level of attitude. I will say, I think like they have done some studies and stuff that just short guys get absolutely hosed on the dating apps, right? And a lot of women filter for height, and your response rate is just like crazy low.
So short king Kyle, like C cups.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about his profile pictures. He serves up a visual buffet of cliches. Sleeveless tees, check. Holding a high noon, check. Ooh. Vague group shots where you can't tell which bro he is, triple check.
Okay, so really quick about the pictures. I'm not active on the apps at all.
Yeah.
One of the things that would drive me crazy about the pictures would be like, and you could always tell if somebody was just going to be like a gremlin.
Yeah.
If the more people they had in their profile picture, the uglier one in the photo they were. So if there was 2 of them, they were the ugly one. If there was 3 of them, they were the ugliest one, right? He's doing this on purpose. He's trying to be like, which one is Kyle?
So then should like people should be offended if they're not included in the group photos that people are putting on dating sites, because that means that your friend thinks you are ugly.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
You're not hot enough to distract from me.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to be confused with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're worse looking than me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of these things that people do, I think, is go to probably certainly friends, but I think there's even services to optimize your dating profile.
Okay.
And maybe Kyle needs to smooth out some of these errors, because it seems like Kyle's making a lot of 101.
Tom, this seems like a really good investment for our
there you go.
Our sponsorship.
Yeah.
The best one? A single, out of nowhere photo with his grandmother, accompanied by the caption, "Nothing makes me happier than time with Nana."
Kyle loves his Nana.
It's great to love your Nana, but I do wonder if that's sort of a try hard move in the dating profile. It's like,
It's like sleeveless tees, high noons, bro pics, Nana.
yeah, it almost feels like he thought he was optimizing his dating profile.
Yeah.
It kind of went sideways.
Well, he's kind of doing some weird parabola, right? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm short, you don't like it. You better have big tits. I like all this fun
Yeah,
stuff, and I
yeah,
like my
yeah.
grandmother.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like if you try to please everybody, you don't please anybody. Like, I feel like Kyle did the like Cheesecake Factory menu here. He's like, I'm gonna have a little bit of something for everybody, but really, like, it's kind of nothing for anyone. Yeah.
Man, Kyle.
That's sweet. And sort of out of place, sandwiched between thirst traps and Barstool cosplay. And when he's not basking in Nana's glow, Kyle tells us that he likes to stay active, read, and explore Route 1. Explore Route 1? The fuck? What does that even mean? Is he rollerblading through the Saugus Hooters parking lot or just loitering around Kelly's roast beef trying to find love?
Fucking Hooters guy.
Now, it's the best. Kyle claims to be a seafood enthusiast and even offers up this gem of a promise to potential matches. I'll make you moister than an oyster.
Ooh, Kyle.
Ooh, moister than an oyster. That is a throwback. I think girls hate the word moist. I can kind of see why.
Doesn't everybody kind of? I don't.
But I kind of like, again, like he's doing this stuff where you like, I'm not going to swipe on this guy, but he's going out of his way to make you not want to.
I think what you're getting at is kind of like Kyle's probably going to find his person.
Yeah.
If you go through this profile and you're like, Kyle's my guy, you're probably kind of a Kyle compatible person because like, so I the one thing I want to go back to, the moister with the oyster is kind of almost like, it's like the neon sign, right?
Yeah.
Like that's an obvious one, but the couple things there. Barstool cosplay is like, what is, I don't even know what that is.
I think she said his outfit is Barstool cosplay.
Yeah, his outfit is, I don't know if that's like, I feel like it's not beyond Kyle to literally dress up like Dave Portnoy or something.
That's true.
Which I don't even know what these costumes would look like, right? Two,
There's shirts with buttons, but you've conveniently missed buttons.
I guess, I don't know. Yeah. Two, he's what was the line? He's exploring Route 1.
He likes to hang out with friends, read, and explore Route 1.
Is that just, I think he's just signaling like, hey, I go to strip clubs.
Well, it's
So,
like-
if you don't like that.
Well, I think
like,
what's on Route 1? There's like, all right, so there's the Kowloon.
Yeah.
There's the Golden Banana. There's the Cabaret.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Hooters.
Well, yeah.
It's
like
the-
fast food, every fast food.
Kelly's
goes
roast
to
beef
that.
she brought up.
Yeah.
There's the strip clubs.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like Dick's Sporting Goods is there somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Like, I mean, that's not like the great outdoors,
No.
right? Like, that's not like the state parks in Nashua or in New Hampshire or something.
Correct.
Like, yeah, that's like I don't know. I don't know what. But yeah, I think Kyle. It's like qualifying ad text, right? It's like if you click on this, you're our guy.
Yeah.
So I think Kyle is kind of filtering out.
He's looking for girls in Revere. Let's put it that way.
Your art curator is not messaging Kyle.
Yeah. Hey,
You know what
Kyle.
I'm saying?
EK is not coming for you.
EK's not responding.
Let's see if Kyle finishes strong. It's doubtful, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep, that's a direct quote. Eat your hat out. Oh,
Her accent's so good.
and did I mention the best part? Kyle has a fucking cat.
Oh,
Because of course he does. Kyle's a fucking cat guy. Which honestly is the most emotionally available thing about him. Unless his cat also has a high Noonan paw and an unsolicited opinion about your BMI. So there you have it, folks. Kyle from Saugus, sleeveless, seafood loving, Nana hugging, Route 1 roaming, and this week's undisputed no dick bozo of the week.
wow.
Stay safe out there and swipe wisely. Love, Pharmacist Pam.
Pam, awesome job. We love it.
Yes, great job.
Great job.
So we're kind of ranking.
I think, yeah, we'll rank them. So
'Cause you're not allowed to veto anymore, right?
no,
That
we
was
can't
Katie
veto.
Rose
We
said
can't
that.
veto any of them. So I think the best. I mean, they're all awful.
Well, right. I think it's, and you gotta be clear on the rankings. Like the best no dick bozo is the worst, kind of.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the worst guy.
I think
Yeah.
Kyle's the worst.
Kyle's probably the worst. Yeah, Kyle's the worst. Then the second guy, and then disc golf guy
Disc golf guy was
was the best, I think. Right.
what? Yeah, because like Lindsay's guy was like Bozo, but like he was more of like a goofball.
Yeah, he was a funny one. But yeah, I think like if you had to pick, almost like if you had to pick somebody, it was like, hey, your sister's going to date somebody or something. Like, right? He
Yeah.
plays disc golf. He's got the hamster or something.
I think we'll have one more. And then out of the 4, we'll rank, and then we'll start a new ranking.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds fair.
So here's what we do now at this time. We're killing it with this hour. We actually, we thought we'd do like 40 minutes today.
Yeah.
So let's do our thank yous and everything like that.
Great.
As always, thank you to Dean Corsi for that amazing theme song. You can find him at Dean Corsi Music. So that's Instagram.com/Dean Corsi Music. Find us on Instagram at Divorce with Friends. Find us on YouTube at divorcewithfriends.com. And of course, go to all of your podcast sites. Go to Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Smash that like button, Tom. Yes. Go to subscribe. What's that? Unsubscribe, resubscribe.
Subscribe, yep.
5 fucking star that
all
shit. I want 5 stars. I want ratings.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars. Tell us how much we suck.
As long as 5 stars.
Just 5
Keep
stars.
4 stars to yourself. Yeah.
4 stars. Keep it for Kyle's. Yeah. Keep it for Kyle and his fucking cat. But 5 stars, give it to Tom and I. But Tom, any thank yous? I know it's been a long time since we spoke to everybody. So any thank yous you want to share?
No. I don't think I'm not grateful for any of you people.
Yeah. No. Not at all.
Dean.
But no. Thanks for coming around. Thanks for sticking around for this journey. And we'll be back in. We'll probably maybe do a week because we missed. So we'll catch up. We'll do another episode. We will have the No More Mouse on to do our Disney chat soon.
Yes, big Disney show.
We have that all planned. And
I do have a correction.
Yeah.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
Totally. I said that the Hilton Head Resort was in Virginia. Hilton Head is not in Virginia. It is in South Carolina.
Look at that account.
The whole place is in South. So that's like a bad start because we're going to do like see who knows more about Disney. So it's a terrible start by me.
No.
But hand up because right, accountability is important.
Accountability.
Divorce, relationships, all things. So I got that wrong.
That was huge, Tom. And I feel like that's what we do here. We make mistakes, we acknowledge them, but we don't apologize correctly.
Wow, yeah.
And we will catch you all in a couple weeks. Thanks from Bobby Vito, from Tom, Divorced with Friends Pod. Have a great week, everybody.